Hey Crow Nation, welcome to KL Insider. I'm Skylar Jenkins,
And I'm Pat McGuire.
and today we're going to talk about some big trades that are already happening in KL5, as well as the open tryouts that happened this past week. So, to start it off, we're going to talk about, since we've talked about Richie taking over the workhorses, let's talk about some trades that are going to happen with the workhorses. 3 players coming from the throwbacks going into the workhorses, and they are Jim Bradley, James Thomas, and George Price. What would you like to say about that, Pat?
So I think this is Richie comes in and he's already making huge moves. Like this is a great move for the workhorses. Just going by the guys. Jim Bradley put up 94 points last season offensively, and he also had a 79 saves and a 47.9% save percentage. So he had a pretty great year. One thing I want to point out about him is he had 72 goal zone points. So what he brings to the horses is a huge just backdoor presence. And George Price, to go with that, I've been watching them the past Cronum Rec leagues. George and Jim already have this chemistry where it's unstoppable. George comes in from the flex, passes Jim the ball, and it's guaranteed 2 points every single time. So I think that's great for the horses to have that on there, and I think that's something that Richie's going to try and run. Also, if you look at defensively, they got James Thomas, Cell Block T, as he's also referred to as. He is one of the probably most athletic guys in the league, and he makes just some saves that you have to rewind, watch again, rewind it, and then just watch it all over again just because you're baffled by how he makes these saves. So I think this is a great trade for the horses. The throwbacks who they're getting from the horses, so they are actually acquiring Mike Small, Matt Sola, and then Drew Amoroso, who was picked up this offseason from the Cronum Rec League. Just what are your thoughts on that one, Skylar?
Actually, that was one of the most surprising trades I heard about Drew. Most of you, pretty much out of state, might not know Drew. He's been playing the Cronum Rec League for the last 2 years or so, and he's always been with Richie. And originally he was going to be on the workhorses, and now he's immediately traded. He has one of the biggest arms I've ever seen. He could probably just stand at the tip of the wedge, throw it at the crown, bounce it off, and then have it come right back to him. Just big guy, big arm. So that will be really, really great for the throwbacks. And then Matt Sola and Mike Small. Mike Small might be the leading scorer for the throwbacks coming up. Really great shooter and always sticks it right into the chamber when he needs to. Last season he had 178 chamber points. And then Matt Sola. Sola actually last season had a torn PCL, and so that obviously injured his career. And an interesting fact is that this is actually going to be his third team in his third year of being in Cronum. So he's jumping around, and hopefully this will be the team that he can stick with.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the biggest things is throwbacks might have just became the biggest team in the league. They might have just went from one of the height-wise shortest average to one of the tallest, because they have Mike Small now, who is 6'7". You get Matt Sola, who's 6'2", Drew, who's about 6'3". Put them in with the Marin twins they already have, who they're 6'4". You're looking at a huge team right now. And the throwbacks, they already have one of the best defenses in the league, and now they're getting 2 big guys and a wedge back, who the only thing that wasn't down last year was Matt Sola's defensive play. So that's going to be great for him to come in healthy, hopefully, and be able to keep up his wedge back performance while also be what he was his rookie year with the Night Owls, he was a scoring machine. He was automatic from the flex. So I think great trade. Like we talked about before, we don't know who wins. This is tough. This might just be a even slate for both teams. I think the throwbacks are going to be more of an offensive team than you've seen in the past. They might give up some defense, but I think the offense they got will make up for it. And the horses gave up some offense for defense. So really tough to figure out who won this trade. What are your opinions on that? Who do you think wins this trade?
I think the throwbacks have always needed kind of bigger people. They've always been the soccer team. They've always put it on the ground, and to have some nice arms in there is definitely going to help them out in their variety of play. It's just whether or not that they can adapt to it and actually start utilizing those big arms. And then the workhorses. I mean, I think their biggest problem was that they move slow. The last couple seasons, they would just kind of move around and wait for the shot. Richie's not going to let them move slow. Richie's going to keep the play fast, and to have Jim Bradley there and George Price to like hit some back doors real quick if they need them, I think that's going to be really great and move their gameplay forward.
Yeah, definitely losing Mike Small and Phil Cavalcanti is big, but I think they're making up for it. And who knows, there might be even more trades and more things that come down the line for Richie to improve this squad. All right, yeah, so Wednesday night, after our weekly Chrono Rec League, we had this open field tryout. There had to be over 30 guys there that were coming in to give it one last shot to try and make, hopefully, the team. So I was impressed by that, how many people came out. And then once the gameplay started, how it worked is we did 10-minute games. Scott Kennedy broke the teams up. So a 10-minute game, these guys, right away you're coming, you're like, all right, I got 10 minutes. They're pretty sloppy at first. No one really knew like the chemistry of the team they're on because you weren't playing with people you're used to playing with. A lot of people were trying to do too much with the ball. But then towards the end, people started feeling out their teammates. I think it was very good for the captains. I think it solidified a lot of their lineups and a lot of their choices. Maybe like if they were on the fence about a player, this helped. A lot of guys that have been playing consistently through the rec leagues, still, they came out, they did their thing. I know Tim Leonard, he did his thing. Johnny Bisline. Ryan Liberty, I thought, looked pretty good too. And then there were some guys that came out. This guy, Oscar, he came out, and Don McCall did a drop kick that was going to go in, and it had to be going about 90 miles per hour. Oscar jumped across the goal zone, and made this crazy save. So there was huge plays going on, and just all around good play. And then I think also some guys showed up, like I said, and then some guys didn't show up. I thought there were some guys who could have tried some more that I wasn't really that impressed with, and that I think we'll have to really make a big splash at the upcoming Winter Classic to make a KL squad.
Okay, one more time. Thanks for joining us this week on the KL Insider. I'm Skylar Jenkins.
I'm Pat McGuire.
And let us know your thoughts on the trades going on for KL5. Or if you have any other questions or suggestions, let us know below, and we'll talk about them on the next show possibly. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KL Insider for some more updates. I'm Skylar Jenkins.
And I'm Pat McGuire.
We'll see you around.